I'm going to discuss my personal thoughts on the South Node in Pisces and North Node in Virgo placement in astrology. Now, this placement is really interesting to me for a variety of reasons. And I think most of those reasons corresponds to the South Node as opposed to the North Node. When I think of the particular transit of the South Node in Pisces, the North Node in Virgo, and the person who has this placement, this can be very blue and very murky. And I wonder if a lot of people, or a good majority of people who were born with this position, have mental, emotional, issues and things that they're dealing with. Anxiety, self-doubt, getting caught in an illusion of something. These are all Pisces traits, because whatever the South Node is, it reveals the shadow sides of the sign that it's in. And so the South Node rules over what we're releasing, what we need to let go of, but also talents and gifts that we innately bring into this life that we can use in a North Node way. And I think that that's especially potent for this particular placement, because we're talking about Virgo energy, we're talking about manifesting something in the practical reality. I'm currently reading through Jan Spiller's book, Astrology for the Soul, on her chapter on this particular placement, and I was feeling called to read about it. And it's been on my mind recently. So going back to the Pisces, that South Node is especially strong because it is a water South Node. And all water South Nodes deal with loss of boundaries when it comes to other people. Caring, nurturing, giving other people, and just being overwhelmed and not, filling up with your own gas mask, putting that on before you serve others. All the water South Nodes deal with being caught in and swept up in emotions and things, and especially with the North Node in Virgo, that is about putting your feet on the ground and coming down to earth, but in the unique way of a Virgo. It really is about facing reality. And sort of the soul agreement for people with this placement is facing reality, and there's certain relationships or situations and things that are going to be happening with a particular person that incarnates who has this placement that will put them on the path that they were meant to move towards and integrate, which is a Virgo path of service, but also paying attention to the details, and also paying attention, participating in life, as opposed to withdrawing from it, especially as it gets difficult. With this particular placement, it would not be my first choice, because I find that with Virgo energy, it is very judgmental, very high strung, and it can be at the low level perfectionistic, getting caught in the details, not being able to see the bigger picture, seeing the flaws in things, and being so absorbed into it and feeling like you're not enough, and not finding that abundance, joy, and contentment that you're looking for because you're so caught up in the flaws and you're so high strung and you have so many things to do and you don't feel like you have enough time to do them. And there's so many things that need done. Always, feeling like things need to change or improve or needing things to be fixed in a sort of compulsive manner. And that's one of the shadow sides of Virgo energy. And the Virgo South Node is actually not so much, in my mind, a comfort zone as it is a familiar experience that can lead to very unhealthy habit patterns. But with that South Node in Pisces, it can be a really consuming comfort zone that the person has to balance with that North Node in Virgo. And so there's this fog, there's this mist, there's this mystical energy of wanting to go inside yourself, of wanting to come into a dream space where you're not attuned to the world, of wanting to escape. And there's also a sense of oneness with the South Node in Pisces, that, we're all one. That, of being non-judgmental over other people and their flaws. It's something that I was reading. And I've only started to read about this particular placement, and throughout the process of it, maybe I'll be sharing my knowledge and, what I've learned as I'm reading about this particular placement. Personally, this placement is similar to my own, my North Node in Taurus placement and South Node in Scorpio placement. And I, relate to several of the characteristics, although this would certainly not be my North Node, and it is different than the Virgo North Node. But you have the Pisces wanting to escape, not wanting to, face reality. Being, in a boundless space where there's no boundaries, there's no parameters, etc. And then Virgo is about doing the practical things, being productive, putting your nose to the grindstone, being of use, being of service, doing something in the practical world, which will take pushing yourself to move beyond that comfort zone, which can be very heavy to get sucked into with this particular placement. And so you're moving towards Virgo, and that North Node is something that there's a part of you that may not want to go towards it, and then your soul is calling you towards it. It's more of a need as opposed to want. In some cases, where, what is Virgo but the organization, the details, the mundane, practical reality, that can be not so exhilarating as the blissful, altered states of being in the imagination, dreams, the creativity, the connection to a higher, force, higher power, and an ethereal, flowing, beautiful, imaginative experience with the South Node and the sign of Pisces. And so it's very common for it being very difficult to face reality, and you might have to push yourself to face reality and do what you need to do in the practical material plane. And that's really what the North Node and Virgo people are best suited for, is the material plane. That they are now meant to owe the universe. They're meant to do their practical, chop wood, carry water, things to manifest their dreams, and, do the practical steps and do those practical things, the daily routines, habits, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. The other thing I want to throw in here is that cutting lumber, cooking, doing all of these practical things that, with Virgo energy, require details. And that's also, for me personally, how I can interpret my Taurus North Node. However, I'm glad that I don't have a Virgo North Node, because I'm not a big fan of Virgo energy. It's really my least favorite energy out of all the signs. And I have yet to really come to an appreciation of that energy, because it is, to me, the least abundant, least lucky out of all the zodiac signs. So, I, this is, you know, maybe a more challenging and intense, heavier transit, where you're trying to find your footing in reality, but it's so difficult and you don't want to face that. There's something more gravitating, healing, persuading about the Pisces North Node placement. I prefer that placement over this one. But anyway, those are just some general thoughts that I have over this particular placement. Possibly more to come.